But for a 4-year respite as prime minister, Vladimir Putin has been president of Russia since May 7th of 2000, almost 18 years ago. His approval rating, measured by an independent Russian polling company, today hovers around 80%. Next month, Putin is up for re-election, but he does not run unopposed. Perhaps his toughest would-be competitor for the presidency, anti-corruption activist Alexei Navalny, has been banned from running. But there are 7 names other than Putin on the approved list of candidates. That list was finalized on Thursday. My next guest is the only woman in the group. Ksenia Sobchak is just 36 years old. As such, she barely squeaks by the minimum age requirement. As a former reality TV star and a magazine editor, she does not have a traditional political resume by any means, but her father, ironically, was once Vladimir Putin's mentor. The candidate of Russia's Civil Initiative Party, Sobchak was on a U.S. tour this week, including a trip to Washington, where she was invited to Trump's prayer breakfast. Xenia, pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, the big question people have is, can you conceivably win? Is this a real election that is going to take place?
No, in Russia, unfortunately, we have a joke that you cannot choose your parents, you cannot choose your gender, and you cannot choose your president. So on the elections where Putin takes part, Putin always wins, like in a casino, it's always, the win is always on the house. But it doesn't mean we stay at home and do nothing. Even though Alexei Navalny, as you said, was not led to those elections, which I think is totally unfair, still, like in football, if someone from a football team, even the best player, goes off the match, the next one has to come into the play. And that's me. And I hope that around me I can unite Protestants and people with opposition views to show some result and to show that we're against Putin, and Russia is not Putin. There are many people who disagree with him.
So what do you disagree with Putin on? Politically, in policy terms, what are your differences?
Well, first of all, I think that Russia has to have free democratic elections. That means that everyone who wants to take part in it should be admitted. Next, there should be full media coverage of the campaign on the same level for all the candidates, which is not now the case. And thirdly, debates with the candidates should be there. Can you imagine that Putin just denies debates? He says he won't take part in the debates of the candidates. So you do your job, guys, and I will stay still in Kremlin.
Let me ask you, you're also in favor of gay rights in a way that Putin is not. Does Putin take these positions, social conservatism, this kind of nationalism regarding Ukraine and the Crimea, does he take these positions because he knows they appeal to the kind of heartland of Russia, and he can paint your positions as being kind of Western, cosmopolitan, and liberal? Is that his strategy?
Well, like in Orwell books, whom I cherish very much as an author, in classical totalitarian regimes, you always have to make people hate someone. And this hatred is all around the Russian politics. What they do, they make one people hate another. Doesn't matter. Minorities, people from Ukraine, Americans. It's just, the epidemic of hatred which they pour on people from federal TVs. I'm against it.
There are theories. Russia is full of theories. One of them is that Putin has chosen you as the approved opposition candidate because you're a reality TV star. Obviously, you're going to be very liberal. And he's going to say to the Russian people, look, that's the glittering, superficial, cosmopolitan, urban world that hates me and, benefit in a way from the anti-elitism, from the class warfare. In many ways, it's a little bit like Trump reminding people of the urban elites who hate him, of the media that hates him, of political correctness. Are you falling into that trap?
My burden is my past as a TV star. But, past cannot be a life sentence. I made my lessons and I'm a different person. I'm a political journalist for more than 10 years in Russia. But of course, in totalitarian regime, only one person, a brave person, can try to break the system with a little tools or with some burdens. It's unfortunately the realistic picture of what we have, and I realize that, but still I want to use it to the end. And being underestimated is something a good thing in totalitarian regime.
Many of Vladimir Putin's opponents politically are now dead. Do you worry about your safety?
Yes, but not now. After 18th of March, when I will not be in the spotlight and I will not be an official candidate, I think there are a lot of problems to face. But what I'm doing now is worth it because I think it's very important and I want to really prolong the story of my father and the things that he found important. So for me, it's a thing of a lifetime I do.
Ksenia Sobchak, pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much.
Next on G.